So this is a test flight of the Fimi X8 SE 2020. I received this drone on the 8th of June. Today is the 25th of June, and the test flight is to test a problem that I've had ever since I've got the drone. The problem is the gimbal. Two main problems: the gimbal tilts and the gimbal pitches by itself without any input from me. So we're going to record in 2.7K at 60 frames a second, and the plan is to climb to about 50 meters and then head straight out towards the coast. We're going to go in pretty much a straight line, minimal input from me. I will not be touching the gimbal controls during this flight, on the way out and on the way back. When we fly back, we'll do a landing, and then we'll see where we go from that. We're going to climb to 50 meters. Let me try to come down just a tad, and there we are, just 50 meters. Now just a slight yaw to the left. Here's the course that we like to fly. We wait till that settles. And with no input at all on the gimbal. We're not going to touch the gimbal. And full stick forward now. So once we begin full flight, we're not going to turn left or right until we come to a stop over the coast, which is just about 2 kilometers away. So we're at an average 10 meters a second, 50 meters altitude, and just over 650 meters away. The coast is ahead. And just 1 kilometer now. So we're steady at 10 meters a second. Altitude is good at 50 meters. And we're coming up on 1400 meters out. So we have a little haze in the distance, so it's a little difficult to judge the angle of the horizon, but we can see already it's out by a couple of degrees. And we're coming up to 1700 meters now. And then we stop when we get to 2 kilometers. And the plan now when we get to 2 kilometers is all stop and hover for about 30 seconds. So we'll just stop there. Okay, that's just a shade over 2,000 meters away. We all stop and just hover in position. And the telemetry shows we're in a stable hover. So we just want to observe the behavior of the gimbal. And we just hover here for just a few more seconds. See a very distinct tilt on the horizon. And this is no input from me at all. Okay, we're going to do a yaw now to the left and come around 180 degrees and fly back manually. We're not going to use a return to home for this. Just fly back manually. And before we do, we can see the horizon is starting to shift again. And again, it's doing this all by itself. Okay, we're going to turn around slowly. And that should be close. We'll just come back to the right a tiny amount. Very small yaw to the right. And that should get us pretty much back on course. And we can make any final adjustments we need as we get closer to home. So, and again, we want to look at the pitch of the gimbal. And we want to look at the tilt of the gimbal. And so we're still hovering. We haven't gone full stick forward or anything yet. We're going to do that now. And so forward, full stick forward, and here we go. And the speed comes up to 10 meters a second, 10.3, 10.4, thereabouts. Okay. And again, there's no yaw from the controller. This is just a straight flight as we head back towards the takeoff point. So again, we want to watch for pitch issues with the gimbal and horizontal tilt issues, and we can see some of that already. So we're 1.5 kilometers away just about now. There we are, just past that 1500 meter mark. So our target is the green area ahead and a couple of degrees to the right, but I'm not going to turn or yaw until we get much closer, because we don't want anything to interfere with the straight flight of the drone. Previous issues with this drone, which as I say I got on the 8th of June, has been obviously the pitch of the gimbal. It pitches down by itself and then it pitches up by itself without any input from me. But we've also had some very serious horizontal tilt up to 11 degrees. And so we're just coming straight here now. There's been no change of course. So there's building ahead. I'm just going to stop, I think probably over that, and adjust the course slightly and come around slightly to the right and bring it into land. So we're approaching 650 meters. So this is our first test flight. Now all updates have been done, and all calibrations have been done, including the update that came yesterday. So all the updates have been done, just be very clear about that, and all the calibrations have been done as well. So we're going to all stop here now. And we're going to yaw slightly to the right. Just to get us back in line with where we need to be. So, we'll head over. And we'll bring it down now, slowly. Now we're a little ways away from where I'm standing, so we'll bring it down. And we're keeping an eye on the horizon. We haven't touched the gimbal at all now. Okay, we'll stop. We're going to yaw slightly to the left, just a little. And that looks like me standing there waiting for the drone to come down. So really we want to land on the footpath we took off from. So just fly overhead a little. Okay. And we can hear the motors in the background. So we just pull it down now, and when we get down close enough to the ground, we'll just do an auto land. So down we go, and we will just do an auto land right there. And down we come. Okay, so we'll stop the camera recording. And we'll stop screen recording and get ready for our second test flight. And everything looks good, and up we go. We'll go up to maybe 40 meters this time. That's good. Okay. So we've good battery, we've 17 satellites. Good strong signal. Oh, we've 13. Well, we're skipping between 13 and 17. Never mind. So, we're going to bring the gimbal down a little. And we'll just fly around the area. We're going to take a turn to the right. And we're going to head out towards the coast in that direction. And we might increase the speed this time to 12 meters a second. Alright. Now, I brought the gimbal down slightly, but I haven't touched it since, and we can see the gimbal continues to come down by itself. So if I want to see the coast, I'm going to have to bring the gimbal back up again, which I'm going to do now. Okay, so according to the telemetry, we're at -4 degrees on the gimbal, and we're at 58% battery, so we won't take too long with this, and we'll go full stick forward now. And we'll see how far we get with this. We do have obstacles in the way, so we may lose the signal and do a return to home. And we're going to adjust the gimbal along the way, and we'll give a warning for that when we do. And we might take that up another 5 meters, another 10 meters, just to make sure we've got a nice clear line of sight and signal. There we go, that takes us up to just 50, that's great. Okay, so we're coming out to the coast, and we can see that the tilt already. It's tilted to the right down and tilted to the left ways up. Now we haven't inputted any gimbal instructions, and yet we can see the gimbal is really starting to shift. So we're at just over 840 meters. And so we bring the gimbal up. So we'll all stop here because it's giving me a return to home signal. And as it comes around, you can see the horizon issue right there. So it's flying home. Now we don't really want it to do that, so we'll stop that. Okay, so we've stopped that. We just hover in position for a moment and see what happens. And so you see the horizon that was tilted started to level itself. So maybe we'll go full stick forward and head back in our own direction. We just do that manually. Nope, it's just disconnected. Okay. So we've lost FPV there. Oh, here we are. Alright, so we'll stop the return to home. Okay, so that's stopped. And we'll just we'll do the return to home manually. So full stick forward, just 880 meters out. And we're in manual flight. And we bring the gimbal down, have a look down towards the ground. See how we're doing here. So we bring it all the way down. And it's still at 50 meters. And then we bring it all the way up. And we can see the angle indication on the bottom of the screen.
What are you doing?
So we're on plus 3.5 degrees. Try to get that down just a tad if we can. And that's close enough to... Okay. So we are almost back. And we can see issues with the gimbal again. So the problem is that footage like this just isn't usable. And the drone's just flying overhead now, so we let it carry on before we bring it back. And with the same problem. So we might do a circle around that area and then bring it back and land. So we're 300 meters out at 50 meters up. Just do a yaw to the right. Whoops, it's a little faster than I intended. Okay, and the gimbal just nudged down by itself that time. That wasn't my input. So we head back here. Heading out over the park now, coming back into the park I should say. Full stick forward with just a shade under 12 meters, just 12 meters a second. And again we can see the horizon starting to tilt to straighten up, I suppose you might say. And I guess if we carry straight on, it'll just start to tilt to the right. Let's see. Okay, so we've just gone overhead. So what's the horizon going to do? Is it going to stay level or is it going to tilt? Looks like it's starting to tilt down to the right. That's what I thought. The problem is that this is a great drone. I mean, it's a Fimi, so you expect top quality, you know, from a manufacturer like that. It's not like I'm flying my son's $40 drone. This is a capable quadcopter. Okay, we'll yaw around to the left and bring it back and see what happens. And that's a slow yaw, so I'm taking it easy on that, you know. So you come around, nice and slow, and we head back over to the park. There we are. Whoops, not too far, that'll do you. Okay, so let's bring the gimbal down. You can see we're quite close, but we're losing signal, which is interesting. And then we'll bring it back up again, see how we're doing. And all stop there. Okay. Now,
hey,
how you doing? Okay, we're down to 32%, so we'll have a look down with the gimbal. Bring it down. There's a little footpath there. We're going to land. And we'll just do a couple of little yaws, see how we're doing. Just to make ourselves dizzy. Not at all. Alright. And let's bring it around this way. Just a tad. There we are. Alright, bring the gimbal up. See how are we doing. How are we doing? Are we stable? What are we like? And we're not stable, we're tilted again, and that's just hovering in position, okay? All right, we're gonna come into land. I think we've kind of proved the point. So, down we come. And you can see as we come down, just how extreme that tilt is. Might come forward just a little bit, bring it closer. There we go. And here we are. So we'll stop there. We're gonna walk down to the old drone. All right then. And down we go. And we'll do an auto land from that point. And down we. All right. And we're going to stop the screen recording in a second, but I think the point is clear. Got some very definite issues with the gimbal, even after the updates, all the calibrations, everything. Still got some problems here. So really needs some work. I don't know whether this is a faulty drone. This can't be a design feature. This is just not possible with a brand new drone, brand new design, new model, just released onto the market. So, all right, Fimi, help me out. Help me to figure it out.